Hey everybody, welcome to Give Me 5 minutes with Fort Smith City Director Neil Martin. Let's go ahead and jump into what happened last week. We had a regular meeting and we voted on a number of items. I'll only hit on a few of them. We approved the 2024 goals for the city of Fort Smith. We approved contracts for legal services, some for consent decrees, some for just general legal services. We approved a bid and authorized a contract for street overlays. That would be for Grand Avenue, Veterans Avenue in Chaffee Crossing, and Old Greenwood. So those were some good things. For most of the items that we discussed, we were unanimous. 7 voting for, 0 voting against. Where we differed was one item on the consent agenda. That was Director Kevin Settle voting against approving a contract with First Western Insurance Agency for insurance and risk management services. So that vote was 6-1. Where we differed probably the most intensely and debated the longest was related to an agreement for a third-party review of the Fort Smith Animal Haven audit. So if you remember, earlier this year, our internal auditor performed an audit, completed an audit of Fort Smith Animal Haven. There was a number of things found, a number of findings, just like happens with a number of audits that go on around the city. There were some concerns or findings related to inappropriate charges, related to overcharges, those types of things. Later, there was a request to have a third-party review, and we voted 4-3 on that. This last Tuesday was to vote on the agreement with a company to actually do this audit. It's Baker Tilly. And I voted against it. It was me, Director George Katsavis, Director Christina Katsavis. So it was 4-3. And the reason I voted against it is because I think it's flawed. I think the information that is provided to Baker Tilly may be different than the information that was provided to our internal auditor at the time of the audit. I think the longer this goes away from the audit being complete, or at least delivered to the public, the more varying information that can be provided. So I voted against it. I think we have spent a lot of time talking about Animal Haven, and it's my belief we should move forward. Animal Haven should move forward in improving processes. That's what I was voting for. That's what I was voting to move forward with, but that's not the case. So we've got a third-party review that's going to be doing this, and I have some thoughts on how I think this is going to go, and I might share that at a later time. But it was really frustrating for me to go through this and to argue this, and when it's time for us to move forward. I don't think we're done talking about this audit. I don't think we're done talking about this whole process. I would rather move forward. But that was the summary of that whole discussion. I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov. You can look at the agenda. You can look at how every director voted. You can see a summary of the discussion that happened, or you can watch the whole meeting. We spent an hour and a half talking about Animal Haven. You can put it on double speed. You can watch it maybe in 45 minutes and just see the tenor and how the discussion went. But it was a lot of things that were going on related to that. Also, last week, not only did we have our regular meeting, but we started budget hearings. So we reviewed human resources, IT, finance, all those different City of Fort Smith departments. We looked at development services. That'd be planning and zoning, engineering, community development, building safety, neighborhood services. We reviewed police, fire, streets and traffic control. So those were the items that we went through last week. We got more coming up this week that we'll be talking about, but it was a busy week. We met on Tuesday for our regular meeting and Wednesday and Thursday for our budget hearing. So lots of things going on. It was a very busy week. This week is another big week, like I told you just a few minutes ago. So Monday, we will be getting together to look at the budget for utilities. That's water and sewer. We'll be looking at parks and rec. So those will be the first items up on Monday. On Tuesday, we have our regular study session. We'll be receiving a presentation for the Community School of the Arts. We'll have a discussion regarding 64.6 downtown activities, the things that are going on with 64.6. We'll also be reviewing results of a water rate study. You'll want to pay attention to this. I think this is very important. I'm anxious to see the results of this water rate study, what it says. And I think there's going to be plenty of discussion about this, so you'll want to pay attention. Then on Wednesday, we'll be getting back to our budget hearings. Well, we'll be discussing solid waste, transit, health services, and then on Thursday, we'll be looking at various non-departmental things, advertising and promotion commission. We'll be looking at capital improvement plans, and then we'll be looking at city administration, mayor's fund, the board of directors fund, city prosecutor, public defender, city attorney, all those different things. So we'll be meeting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. And as always, every one of these meetings will be at the Blue Line. The public is welcome to join in during budget hearings, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith. That's it for this week's Give Me Five. There's a lot going on last week and this week. I hope the information was informative and made you better aware of the items that are in front of your board of directors. We will do this again next Sunday on Give Me Five.